Big waves in the building, man. We are live again. MidDay Madness in the mix. As always, man, I am your host with the most from the East Coast. Big waves in the building. Y'all already know what time it is. Hope everybody's doing good on this Friday afternoon. MidDay Madness in the mix, man. We here to talk about it today. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Uh, Appreciate everybody pulling up on this midday Friday. I don't know where y'all at, but here in the Queen City, it's a gloomy day. But we here to bring some sunshine to y'all today, man. Y'all already know how we do. Hey, shout out to everybody, man, that's been supporting the channel. As always, I am super grateful, super thankful for all of the support, everybody that's been bringing. Hey, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, man, around these Carolina Panthers. A lot. The pro days are over with now. Who has really separated themselves? Who is the guy? Who is the Panthers quarterback after all of this stuff has been going on? We have been through the pro days. We're now went through the combine. We are officially less than a month away from being at the draft itself. Who is our guy? Who is the Panthers quarterback? Who is the person that will lead this franchise going forward in the next 5 to 10 years? Now we should have a clear picture on exactly who that may be. I know a lot of people have mixed emotions about Anthony Richardson and his pro day that he had yesterday. But if you're asking me, and again, I'm just your normal sports analyst. Listen, CJ Stroud is going to be the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. I think all signs are pointing to that. I think that he is going to be the person that is going to lead this team going forward. And again, even though that it's really no difference really between him and Bryce Young, I just think that it's probably staying true to what it's always been. And I think CJ Stroud is going to be the answer. I don't really think it has nothing to do with size. I don't think it has anything to do with, just because he's a bigger, more, physical quarterback than Bryce Young. I just think that it makes the most sense. This is the person who is been talked about as being the number one overall pick all season long, all off season long. All the mock drafts and things that have come out have CJ Stroud going number one. Even though Bryce Young is just as worthy of going with the number one overall pick, I think CJ Stroud is going to be the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers going forward. And it makes a ton of sense, right? For this offense and kind of the quarterbacks and guys that Frank Wright has worked with, it fits the mold. Frank Wright has traditionally done work with pocket passers, maybe some quarterbacks that have a little bit of mobility, and that's kind of what CJ Stroud is. I think CJ Stroud will, his mobility will grow as he grows his career here with the Carolina Panthers. I definitely want to see him move out of the pocket a lot more. I think at times he can become a lot of stationary, which there's nothing wrong with that. But in today's NFL, you have to have the ability to escape, to get away from these defenders, especially when you have defenders and defensive ends and defensive tackles that are just as fast as you are. So it just makes too much sense. I think that in this process, we heard what Josh McCown leaked. We heard, how we saw the faces of how the coaching staff and, GM Scott Fitterer and quarterback coach, Thomas Brown, the offensive coordinator, we saw how their faces lit up, right? We saw how those guys' faces lit up at CJ Stroud's pro day, which leads me to think that he's going to be the choice. And I think that he's always been the choice. I just think that the Panthers have been trying to play this game to make it seem like they don't know who the guy is going to be, to try to drive up the potential desperation of somebody moving up to wanting to get the trade done. But I completely think that CJ Stroud has always been the guy. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be the guy at this actual point. The Panthers are just playing hardball right now with the other teams and trying to get somebody to bite on it. So shout out to everybody, man, that's in the building. 704 was good with you, fam. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you like and subscribe as well. We are on the road to 800 subs. Would not be able to get there without all of you guys' support, without all of you guys' love for your boy Big Waves. I appreciate it, man. I'm thankful. I am super grateful for it. And we're just going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to bring you guys quality content. Right now, I'm in the process of trying to find me a really good YouTube editor. So looking for somebody that's going to really be editing my things. I have a couple guys that I've been interviewing, trying to figure out exactly what's going to be the best fit to interview to do the editing for the channel. So we'll be having a new editor that's going to be editing. I'm going to be dropping a lot of pre-recorded content as well. Haven't not done with the pre-recorded content, guys. So I know I was doing a ton of that, man, back on Between the Lines podcast. RIP to Between the Lines podcast, by the way. But anybody that knows anything about the editing or whatever, man, send them my way. Because again, I'm looking for somebody to really take on and do that role full time here for the channel, put them on a payroll, so on and so forth. So we'll be looking to do that. And I have a couple guys, but just trying to make sure that it's somebody that I can really mesh with. And that's really just the biggest thing, guys. Like when it comes to this YouTube stuff and what I've learned over the last year, you really need to make sure that if you're going to do this thing with somebody, that you guys have really good chemistry. Like chemistry is everything when you're trying to do it. And what I've understand is that I'm probably, I'm going to do it by myself. Like I'm going to 100% do this YouTube thing by myself. I feel like I can alleviate a lot of the politics and shit and, everything that comes with it, the personalities, the egos and all of that stuff, man. And the negativity. I can avoid all of that stuff, man, by being a one-man band. So Big Waves will be a one-man band here on Life is Just a Wave podcast going forward. I will definitely be having a lot of my friends, family, different stuff come up, man, to give their opinions. But this channel will be 100% solely centered around me and what we bring into it. Yeah. And we definitely all talked about that, Jesse. And you were so right about that. It's really, really important. And I think it's important that I be transparent with my fans and my supporters, of the channel as well. Because, it's what I've really learned about it is that, again, it's very complicated to do with somebody, right? Like it's really complicated to do. Doesn't matter how good of content you guys can create and you guys can make and you guys can make happen, but it is really tough to do it with others that may not see, or have the same kind of, outlooks and opinions on things as you do. You get what I mean? And it can make, a lot of things, complicated and it can sour, some friendships and so on and so forth. So I'm going to be doing this thing 100% solo, guys. Like I said, but I will be introducing you guys to new voices, new opinions, new perspectives, because that's what we're all about over here on this channel. Right or wrong, we are about embracing everybody's opinions, thoughts, feelings, no matter how strong or how passionate you are about it. We're 100% about embracing that over here on the channel. We are, yeah, absolutely, Jesse, and I really appreciate that, man, as well. And I would love to get you up here on the show, man. Really love to get you up here on the show, just to get your opinion about, granted, I know you're a 49ers fan, but I would love to have your opinion on about which direction the Carolina Panthers should go as we're counting down this draft day. We're counting down who the franchise quarterback is going to be for the Carolina Panthers going forward. So I would love to come up here and get have you come up and give your perspective as well, man, when you have free time. I know you're a busy man. So with that being said, guys, CJ Stroud, at least the top 4 pro days have been completed. We're at a point where now we are just waiting on who's going to be the guy for the Carolina Panthers. Probably the most boring part of this actual process because free agency has calmed down. I don't see the Panthers making too many more moves when it comes to free agency. I really don't. Shout out to everybody, man, that's pulling up. I have done a lot of work on a 4QB. Definitely would love to chop it up. Yeah, Jesse, you just let me know what works for you, man. I'm live midday here on the East Coast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with MidDay Madness for the Carolina Panthers. So if one of those days and time frames work for you, let me know. Definitely would love to get your perspective on it. Obviously want to, kind of break down the Panthers' needs and incorporate that as well and kind of where we're headed as a direction of the team. Like I said, on paper, this is probably one of the most impressive, if not the most impressive coaching staff in the NFL. When you're looking at what this team has come from with the unsuccess that we have had over the last 5 to 6 years, to see this ownership and to see this, our GM be able to be as aggressive as they have over the last, couple of years, it has been nothing short of amazing to see. I am super impressed with the job that the Carolina Panthers have done this offseason to build this team in the right direction. The free agent additions, this defense is still going to be a top defense, going forward. I see no reason why this defense should not still be competing to be a top 10, top 15 defense. And I honestly think that it's the best defense in the NFC South. That alone should be able to keep us atop. Granted, with us bringing in a rookie quarterback, the transition should be a smooth transition over to a new regime, new quarterback. We're bringing in veteran weapons, veteran presence of Adam Thielen, DJ Shark. Granted, losing DJ Moore does sting a little bit. I will say that loss stings a little bit more because I think that still, even with the additions of Adam Thielen and DJ Shark, the Panthers are still missing a true number one wide receiver, right? And maybe we address that in the draft. I'm not really sure if one of those guys will be there at 39. Maybe it's Zay Flowers. Maybe it's Josh Downs from North Carolina. But the Panthers still need a true number one wide receiver, I would say. Again, I love the moves that we are, but I still want the fan base to understand that I feel like we're still not at a complete product yet. I think that we've made a lot of great strides to be where we are for the Carolina, this off season. And granted, what we do in the draft is going to have a lot of impact on it, but there's still some areas on the team that has some question marks, right? There's still some some questions that need to be answered. Obviously one of those things is getting Brian Burns' contract done and what his contract is going to look like, right? We need to go ahead and get his contract done. I think it will happen. Not really sure what the numbers is going to be on his contract, but also defensive end opposite of Brian Burns. Granted, we are moving to a 3-4 scheme, and there are some potential talented, guys and young guys on the roster that can maybe fill in that void. Maybe Amari Barno will fill in that void. Maybe, Derek Brown will get more run at defensive end in a 3-4 scheme with the additions of Tuttle and Sean. So I think that we definitely need a, weapons there that on that side of the ball. We're missing a true linebacker. Now, granted, in a 3-4 scheme, really having a traditional true downhill linebacker is not necessarily a necessity, but having that true field general would help a ton with what the Carolina Panthers need to do on the defensive side of the ball. Nick Bosa's contract can help the Panthers get the numbers figured out for Burns. Yeah, I think so. But the thing about it, Jesse, is that the NFL is all about resetting the market. And we can all probably learn something from the whole Lamar Jackson, situation that's going on. These things can get ugly, man. And when you have a star player who's been putting up the production year after year after year after year, guys, you have to find a way to get a contract done with your best guys, right? Like, take care of your best guys. I am 100% pro the player when it comes to that stuff. Take care of your best guys. Get a deal done, even if it makes them the highest paid at their position. You have to make sure that it obviously makes sense for the franchise, but also you have to get your best guys paid for. So from that standpoint, I would say the Carolina Panthers definitely should try to work out a deal to go ahead and get Brian Burns locked up. I don't want this to be something that drags out until the season. And then if we not having as much success, then now, it starts becoming, a whole bigger thing. Go ahead and get them locked up. Go ahead and get a contract done with them so that we can go ahead and get that out the way, right? Another thing that I would say that the Panthers salute. Omar, what's good with your fam? How you living, man? Appreciate you pulling up to the channel. MidDay Madness in the mix, man. I'm going to bring CLT here up in just a second so we can get ready to talk about it, man. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. Another thing, that defensive end position opposite of Brian Burns, that's obviously something that's been a hole that Hassan Reddick has left ever since he went to go join the Eagles, team 2 years ago. So what do we do there? Obviously, there's still a lot of big edge rushers in the free agent that I honestly think that the longer that it plays out, that those guys, you can probably get them for dirt cheap. I don't think that you have to spend a ton of money on getting, one of these veteran defensive ends. Names like Jadeveon Clowney, Yannick Ngakwe, name is out there. One of the names that are out there are Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn is, maybe on the wrong side of 30, but he's still a corner defensive end that was just 1 year removed from a 16, 17 sack season. You could get these guys. You can get these guys for a really good price the longer that we go past the draft and, getting into, OTAs and mini camps and so on and so forth. There's a lot of opportunity out there for the Carolina Panthers when it comes to the defensive end position. Yannick Ngakwe, to me, makes the most sense simply because he's already worked with Frank Wright. He knows what he wants to do, and he knows the philosophies of Frank Wright. So maybe the Panthers are exploring it. I haven't heard any news on that. And then maybe they decide to take the younger route and go and get somebody in the draft. But with our picks we have left, who would be potentially falling that late in the draft for the Panthers to be able to make a move on? And then another area that we obviously need to, take a look at is going to be the cornerback position. Cornerback depth on the Carolina Panthers is a serious issue, and I think it's a big issue more than what we are leading on to say. Let's keep it real. J.C. Horn, when healthy, is one of the top cornerbacks in the league. By the way, if you guys don't know, I think he's looking to change to number 0. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the league when he's on the field and when he is healthy. But let's be honest, guys, since he's been in the NFL, he has missed a ton of games, right? Now, granted, I don't want to say that this is a premonition of what's to come in the future, but we have to start thinking about and actually starting to plan that, hey, maybe he doesn't play a full 16, 18 games for us this year. Dante Jackson hasn't played a full season since he's been here in Carolina. So that's a big concern for me, especially for a defense that is trying to establish dominance in the NFC South. So cornerback is a position that definitely needs to be addressed, and there's still some good veteran names out there. Rocky Sin, former coach and Raider cornerback who's worked with Frank Wright, is a name out there who can come in and be a quality starter corner that we probably can get on a 1 to 2 year deal. Granted, the Carolina Panthers still have the number 2 cap space in the NFL right now. So there is a ton of space out there for the Carolina Panthers to be able to make moves for him. Marcus Peters, a veteran cornerback out there who brings a ton of tenacity and aggressiveness to the cornerback position. Granted, he is a little bit older, probably not going to be a true lockdown corner at this point in his career, but has a ton of experience. And on top of that, he's able to be a veteran presence for those younger corners that we have on the roster. Probably can get him to a 1 or 2 year deal. So there's options out there for. And then, always, again, we have the draft. There's some names that could fall potentially, down to that 2nd or 3rd round pick. But corner depth is a position that we definitely need to work on and fill. I feel like it's probably our most thinnest room right now when you're talking about from a talent perspective. Outside of J.C. Horn and Dante Jackson, there's just not a ton of depth at the cornerback position. CJ Henderson is a liability in coverage. I think we've all, as Panther fans, have seen enough of CJ Henderson. I'm not a fan of him. I think that this year is his last opportunity for him to get it right here in Carolina. And if not, he is going to be gone. Yep. So those rooms stand out. And then when we're looking at the offensive side of the ball, granted, we brought Hayden Hurst in, but I think that we could still benefit from getting another tight end later in the draft, another tight end to come in to, be 2 tight end set. Tommy Tremble thinks he has a ton of upside, but I think he's better as a blocking tight end, as more as a pass catching threat. And Ian Thomas is probably somebody that is playing his way out of Carolina. So tight end depth is obviously a concern there. But those are where I feel like the Carolina Panthers have the biggest holes. So again, we're not complete. Another running back, perhaps. Yes, we brought in Miles Sanders. Yes, we still have Spencer Brown. Yes, we still have Blackshear. We also, still have Chuba Hubbard. Maybe one of those guys take the leap this year behind Miles Sanders. Obviously, Miles Sanders is going to be the starter. He's going to be pretty much a 3-down back. I feel like he's going to be utilized here in Carolina. But maybe we still should try to think about getting a more bruising, polarizing type back. Spencer Brown and I don't think Spencer Brown and Blackshear, one of those guys are probably not going to make the final cut, the final 53-man roster. So I could see, potentially one of those guys being, a cut. I don't see one of those guys. I don't see all of those guys, and maybe two of those guys might be a cut. I only see Spencer. You're absolutely right. I see that those guys could. Who are they? Right. We probably need to draft another running back late in the draft, or maybe even go get a free agent running back that's out there to sign to pair him up with Miles Sanders so that we can have a running back by committee. Miles Sanders, even with the production that he had last year, he still was part of a committee. Granted, that committee was commissioned of Kenneth Gainwell, and they also had it was Kenneth Gainwell, Miles Sanders, and there's one other running back that they had there that they were rotating. It was a 3-headed monster with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I feel like that's an approach that the Carolina Panthers should take as well when we're talking about, going forward. I think the more weapons that you get for your young quarterback with CJ Stroud, I think it's going to be CJ Stroud is going to be the quarterback here in Carolina. I'm almost willing to put money on it at this point. Arguments can be made for Bryce Young, but CJ Stroud is probably going to be Boston Scott. Courtesy, thank you so much for letting me know that. So it was a 3-headed attack there as well. Boston Scott was the other running back there in it. So the Carolina Panthers are still, far from being a complete product, right? They're far from being a complete product. This coaching staff is going to need to take time to gel. All of this offense and this chemistry is going to take time to gel. But at this point, we're just waiting on the draft at this point to kind of see who our quarterback is going to be. And I think it's going to be CJ Stroud. But so what do you guys think about that? Guys, give me 2 seconds. I'm about to go grab some water. I will be right back. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back with everybody. Appreciate that, guys. Had to go wet my whistle, man. Are you doing a draft party live stream? Yeah. Honestly, man, I've thought about it. Right, I've thought about it, but the truth be told, man, I'm gonna be so focused on the draft, and probably yelling and screaming whoever the Carolina Panthers take number one. I wouldn't do anybody any good having a draft party. Like, I wouldn't be a good host or anything like that because I'm really going to be focused on the draft, like super, super focused on it, seeing who drops down, who, what, just potential trades. I'm actually going to be analyzing the draft, like really, really analyzing it and breaking down, looking at the moves that other teams have made, looking who got better, who's gotten worse. What I am going to do, though, is the Friday after the draft. That stream, guys, I am going to do a midday stream on the Friday after the draft, and we're going to be covering and breaking down all of the Carolina Panthers picks. We're going to be covering, obviously the moves that we made. We're going to talk about what our roster looks like going forward with the picks that we made. And then we're going to start getting prep and talking about the offseason and OTAs and all of that. So, yeah, probably won't do a live stream party, but I probably will end up doing something special on that Friday to talk about the draft. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my boy, man, as always, man, here with me, supporting CLT, what's good with it, man?
What it do, fam? What it do, fam? On this marvelous Friday, like you said, gloomy in the city, man. But we're here to uh, provide them with another mother-loving midday madness, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. MidDay Madness. Hey, look, first CLT, man, I want to get your perspective, man. I don't know if you had a chance to check out the highlights yet of Anthony Richardson's pro day from yesterday, but what did you think?
Um, as you pointed out and alluded to, he demonstrated the arm talent. Um, obviously, he can throw the ball far. Strong arm. The ball does pop off his hand. Uh, you obviously see his stature, his build. Um, I do like the mindset he came into it with. You know, projecting positive light on his teammates, not trying to take the spotlight. I do like his character. But again, like you said, it wasn't really any like I would say it was a accuracy type of pro day. It was just to reflect on his talents, having them roll out, throw the ball, just showing that athleticism, showing that throwing power.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, man. It only showed his, his particular talents, right? Like we know that he's a strong passer. We know that he can launch the ball. We know that he can roll out and he can flick the wrist and the ball travel 50, 60 to 70 yards. That's exactly what he did, man. But again, what I didn't take away from him, man, is the accuracy. The accuracy that he showed was, to me, not good enough, and especially for what we want, man, which leads us to where we are right now, man. CJ Stroud is looking like he's going to be the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. Zulu King 910, what up, man? What up with it? What up with it? What up with it? What's up with everybody, man? Listen, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe, man. MidDay Madness on this Friday. Like the video, man. Hit the like button on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. CJ Stroud is looking like he's going to be the future quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, man. Um, do you think that that is it right? Does it seem like this is what it's always been leading up to? All the reports are saying that insiders are even saying that they've heard around the league that the Panthers' choice is CJ Stroud. So how do you feel about that, man? Or do you think Bryce still has a case? What is your thoughts?
Okay. Before I answer that, I just want to say, because people may get it misconstrued. We wish Anthony Richardson the best, right? We want him to strive in the league. We just don't think that he's the guy for us at number one. We
Facts.
hope that he goes to a right situation that will harness and host those talents that he has. But at number one, he's not the fit for us.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. Right? Like I 100% agree, bro. Like I listen, I don't want anybody to think that I hate Anthony Richardson because I was a little bit hard on him in my live yesterday. I already know, man. Y'all know how big waves can get. I'm just saying for number one, he's not the guy at number one, right? If we were at the fifth, fourth pick, or even still at 9 and he failed, by all means, take
Right,
the guy, right? But
right.
at number one, I'm just saying that his talent to where he is right now is not worthy of being the number one pick. That's
And
my whole analysis. That's what's always been my analysis about this guy, and I do think that he's a bit of a project. I really do. I do still stand on the fact that I think that he's a bit of a project, hands down. So again, I don't want any of these people, any of my surface men that are paying attention to the channel. I don't want any of you guys think that I hate AR-15. I don't hate AR-15. It's just I don't think that the Panthers should take him number one overall. That's really just all that it is.
and
Uh,
that's real and that's fair. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we wish him the best. We hope that he goes to the right situation.
right.
Right.
That's really just what it is, man. So yeah.
Right. So, in regards to the question between Bryce and CJ Stroud, if we take CJ Stroud, like I said before, that was my favorite. And as you're not going to agree, it's because of the size. But I like what CJ Stroud stand for. I like what he is as a pocket passer. I don't think we've had a real pocket passer since Jake Delhomme. Um,
Jake the Snake.
yeah, so we haven't had that in a long time. I think CJ can be precise with the ball. I think Frank Wright will get the best out of him, develop him the best, put him in the right situations. We have the supporting cast. We just need, like you said, that number one receiver for him. Um, like I said, like also we don't have any character words about him. Looks like a man of God.
Yeah,
So a
he is.
man of strong faith. So you gotta love that. Um, and the kid is young. We're not getting an older prospect, you know. So
Right.
you gotta love that. Far as the 10-year plan for him. Like I said, Bryce Young is also a great candidate. I wouldn't be mad with Bryce Young either. Um, Also high character. I would say Bryce is a bit more accurate, but accuracy can be taught, and it's not a huge gap. You know,
Agreed.
it's not a huge gap from him being more accurate than CJ Stroud. Stroud does have the stronger arm. Um, I don't think, I don't, me personally, I don't think that you can too much better arm power. You know, it's like it's arm strength. It's what you have, what you have. You know what I'm saying? You can go get in the weight room all you want, but I don't think I think that's God given.
Yeah,
And,
I
and
agree, man. And CLT, you hit it right on the head, bro. Like everything about CJ Stroud just screams Carolina Panthers courtesy. I seen it too, man. And I've actually, I don't know if y'all been taking a look at the thumbnails, man. I've been finding all different type of, CG created CJ Strouds with the Panther uniform on. Man, he just looks good as a Carolina Panther. Like he really does, man. And but again, what I will say too to everybody is that I think the difference between CJ Stroud and Bryce is literally just the height. Is literally just the size. And honestly, that's not a big enough factor for me not to take Bryce Young over CJ Stroud, right? I think CJ is going to be the guy, but if Bryce Young, even if the Panthers decided, hey, we want Bryce Young, he's our quarterback, which I would not be surprised at all. Even if the Panthers decide to do that, bro, you cannot be mad or upset at that at all because honestly, from an arm standpoint, they are no different when it comes to passing. And as a quarterback, that's what we're talking about, right? We can talk all day about the running out of the backfield. I will give the edge to the escapability to Bryce Young, though. I will definitely give that to Bryce Young. So if you're asking me though, what separates them really, like that really is a big like factor of what really separates them, it's only the height. That's the only thing that separates Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. That is literally the only thing that separates those two. Nothing else from a talent standpoint, a passing ability, a processing ability. You know, they both got pretty decent arms. CJ Stroud arm is a little bit stronger than Bryce Young's. I will give you that. But overall talent, both of these guys are a 10 out of 10. Both of them are a 10 out of 10. The only thing right now, if you're asking me, that separates these two is one is 6'3" and one is 5'10". That, like, honestly, that's honestly how I feel about that. Nothing else separates these two. That
like everybody else said, both of them are great quarterbacks. Nobody is considered a generational talent, like a Trevor Lawrence, where it's all like the consensus is he's going number one.
agreed.
So so you can't be mad with either one. Um, like we've been saying this whole time, we just hope that we get the one we make the right selection, meaning getting the person that's right for our system, our coaching staff, our city.
And see, that's really just what it's about. Shout out to yeah. Shout out to Morgan Captain. Shout out to everybody that's pulling up on this midday madness episode of Life is Just a Wave podcast. Big waves in the building, man. I'm up here with my boy CLT. CLT is a real one, man. Y'all don't understand, Me and this dude go way back, man. Y'all don't understand, bro. Like how much I appreciate this dude coming up on this show every midday for us, man. And look, I want to tell everybody this too, man. If you're new to the channel, become a surfer today. Subscribe. Y'all see that, man? Hey, I put out a short too. If y'all haven't seen it already, I put out a short of Anthony Richardson's pro day. Go take a look at that video, man. Hit the like on that video. Run that video up. It's already going crazy. 2,300 views on it already. Y'all make sure to go check that out on the channel as well, man. New cosmetics of the show, y'all. We coming up, man. We bringing that energy. We bringing that content. CLT. But I want to. Somebody said something here in the comments, and I want to make sure that I capture. AJ Brooks said Frank has to win within these first 2 years. He doesn't have the luxury like Rule. Absolutely. Morgan Captain Mo. I like everything that CJ can do. Puts his prototypical size, accuracy, size, strength, with a pocket presence. Donald Duck says CJ Stroud oozes car, but hey, it is what it is. Texans are going to pop champagne and laugh at us when we pass on him. So Donald Duck, are you saying that you want Bryce Young? Yeah says CJ Stroud looks like IQ of Joe Burrow with the arm talent of Herbert. I can see that. Yeah. That's actually a pretty solid comparison. I like that. 100% agree. When you're streaming on the beach. Oh man, look, hey, yeah. I'm trying to find a way to pull that off, bro. I got some summer trips lined up, but I gotta find a way to make it work, man. From a technological standpoint, I gotta figure that out, man. Like it ain't no Wi-Fi out there on the beach, man. So I gotta find a way that can make that happen. But that is definitely in my plans. Zulu King said, "What if 2018 Stroud, Donald, Young, Mayfield, and Richardson, Lamar?" I'm just saying what y'all think. Nah, I don't see that. How you think about that, CLT? What he just said.
What did he say?
Look at the comments. It's on the screen. He said, "What if 2018?"
I'll read it. The chances of that happening is not very likely. But again, drafting is not for sure. It's some cases of busts. You know, Sam Darnold was a bust. Like he said, Mayfield was considered a bust at number 1. So the chance of it happening, but the comparison I don't see. Chance of a bust happens. You just got to take that risk. Hopefully, our scouting department, my staff makes the right decision.
This is one thing that I'll say too. CLT. I'll say this, right? Anybody can be a bust coming outside of like coming, out of the, college ranks to the NFL. But I will definitely say this. I don't see a situation where CJ Stroud and Bryce Young will be a bust in the NFL. And the reason the reason is this. Both of these guys had higher upsides than Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold had coming out of college. I'm going to keep it real. Sam Darnold was so overrated when he was at USC. He was so overrated there. Like, he was super overrated there, and Baker Mayfield was overrated as well. Granted, he won a Heisman, but to me, Baker Mayfield was overrated as well. Baker Mayfield was probably one of the toughest college quarterbacks I ever seen. But when you're talking about just pure, man, like arm talent, he played with a CeeDee Lamb. Like, he played with really great, like, weapons. And honestly, with these guys, somebody brought this up on a live the other day. As a matter of fact, this was Mudbone. Shout out to Mudbone who brought this up yesterday. He said that I've seen Bryce Young play with talent, and I've also seen Bryce Young play without talent, right? This season was the year that Bryce Young played without talent. And then last year, he played with talent because he had John Mechie, he had Smith when they, all of those guys and so on and so forth. Like he's played with and without talent and showed that he can succeed in the SEC without both, right? Like with and without both. CJ Stroud has had the luxury of playing with top wide receivers every year he's been with Ohio State. Every year that he's been with Ohio State, he's had a first-round talent wide receiver on his team. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, this year. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Then next year, Marvin Harrison is probably going to be the highest drafted wide receiver of all time. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now, CLT. Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably going to be the number 2 overall pick in next year's draft. Marvin Harrison Jr. is special, bro. He is special. He is 100% special. He's going to be the highest drafted wide receiver of all time. I'm telling you. If you look at the mock drafts for 2024, y'all check out the mock draft for 2024. We already thinking about 2024. It is some talent coming out next year. And I'll tell you this, Caleb Williams will be the number 1 overall pick in 2024. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be the number 2 overall pick in that draft.
Over Drake May?
Over Drake May. Over Drake May, bro. I'm telling you right now, over Drake May. He's going to be the number 2 overall pick in that draft. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a special talent.
I doubt it. This is why. Because you don't get the second overall pick needing a receiver. You get a second overall pick needing a quarterback.
Listen, I'm going to tell you, though, bro. I'm going to tell you. He is – who would you say is probably the greatest wide receiver over the last 10 years? Like in the NFL. Who would you say has consistently been the greatest wide receiver in the NFL over the last 10 years?
I mean, you can't say because that shit changed every year, bro. I mean, because for a moment we had Julio. You had Julio.
I would give Julio the 2010s. So I'll give Julio like, because what year did Julio come in, if I'm not mistaken? Julio came in like what? He came in the same year as Cam, if I'm not mistaken. He might have came in the same year as Cam, maybe the year before that. But
I can't really say.
Yeah, the point that I'm trying to make it to you is this, bro. Watch college football this year, man. Watch college football. CLT, all of my surfers out there, watch college football this year. Watch college football, bro. I know it. Listen, college football may be boring to others, but if you ask me, college football games sometimes better than NFL games. Watch college football this year, bro. See Marvin Harrison. Watch Marvin Harrison play. You ain't seen a wide receiver like him, bro, in college.
Who does Ohio State have as a QB1 this year?
I don't know who their quarterback is going to be this year. I really don't. I haven't started,
So you're saying he's that good where whoever quarterback is don't even matter?
Don't even matter, bro. I'm telling you, it don't even matter. Who's a better prospect between Harrison Jr. and Jamar Chase when he went at 5? Courtesy, I'm an LSU fan and I'm a Jamar Chase fan. Jamar Chase to me was honestly, you could argue that Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase was better than Justin Jefferson in college. Honestly, they was 1A and 1B. I ain't even gonna say that. But if you're asking me who's a better prospect, I hate to say this, bro, but it's Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a problem, y'all.
You also got to think about Odell coming out of college, though. He was a crazy prospect.
Yeah, Odell was a crazy prospect, but I'm telling y'all, man, listen. Go and watch the tape on this guy. Watch college football this year. Marvin Harrison Jr. is special, guys. They was talking about him at Ohio State's Pro Day when they was watching CJ Stroud. They said that man was like a Lamborghini that doesn't come out until next year that you wanted to buy. Marvin Harrison Jr. is an animal, guys. And I'm telling you, like, he has the potential to have a career just as good or maybe even better than his father's. That kid is special, bro. He can do everything at the wide receiver position. He can run outside. He can catch deep ball. He has the speed. He has the hands. He can catch in the slot. He makes probably some of the toughest catches you can make in college. That kid is going to be special.
You know what? I might sound dumb here, but I did not know that was Marvin Harrison's son. I thought it was just a coincidence they had the same name.
Yeah, they that's definitely his son. Definitely his son.
Learn something every day.
Yeah, he's gonna be a special talent. So let me ask you this question, CLT. To hop back here on our Panthers, man. So right now, we draft CJ Stroud, right? We go ahead and take CJ Stroud in the draft, which I feel like that's the move that the Carolina Panthers are going to take. But what do you think the Carolina Panthers should do, man, with that number 39 pick?
With the number 39 pick, you get him a weapon. You get him a receiver. And I say that because, right, our offensive line is complete. You want offensive line complete so you don't have to go offensive line. And they always speak about how you must put weapons around a rookie quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So the only other weapon that you can get him, because we already got the running back in Miles Sanders, you got the tight end and Hayden Hurst. You get him a true number one. You get him somebody that he come in and build chemistry with from day one. They both walk in the facility together as rookies and build. Just like, not saying just like, but you see what receiver did for Joe Burrow, a familiar receiver as well. They went to the same college. So if we can find a way to get Chris Olave, I'm not going to Jackson Nigma, I would do so. But a receiver does so much for a quarterback, especially a young quarterback.
And I 100% agree. Like, honestly, I think the Panthers should get aggressive, man, and trade up to try to go get JSN. You know, I don't know if he's going to fall to 39. I think that's I don't see that happening, him falling to 39. But how would you feel about the Panthers, man, trading up to go try to get JSN? And there's one name, I think this wide receiver may actually fall, bro. Johnston from TCU. He might actually fall. It could be some wide receivers
I thought he was
fall.
supposed to go number one. I thought he was supposed to go number one.
Man, listen, in the latest mock drafts, they have let me pull up the latest mock drafts. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and pull that up. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, but why you doing that? In my dream draft day, right? Since Stroud and Bryce are 1A, 1B, if Texans have who they want, their guy, if we can trade back to number 2 and get the capital to get JXN, then do it. Trade back to 2, trade back to 3, because trade back to 2 or 3, really, because we know Arizona's not taking a quarterback.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen.
And we will still have the capital to get us the number 1 receiver.
Absolutely. I love that. All right, guys, this is Bleacher Report's latest mock draft that they have here. So this just came out today. So they were talking about landing spots for Anthony Richardson. But in their latest mock draft, they have the Carolina Panthers taking CJ Stroud, number 1. Just a brief excerpt here. It said the Carolina Panthers made the move that they had to make by trading for the number 1 overall pick. Owner David Tepper has been subtle about the franchise's need to address the quarterback position with the quality starting option. He shouldn't be after the team cycled through Kyle Allen, Teddy Bridgewater, P.J. Walker, Cam Newton, Sam Darnold, and Baker Mayfield. Now the Panthers get to choose their guy, and it shouldn't be a difficult decision. CJ Stroud is the best quarterback prospect in this class. Pro draft expert Klassen said, through a smidget skinnier than Frank Reich's typical quarterback, Stroud checks every box when it comes to skill set. Stroud has very good arm strength to drive the ball down the field and toward the sideline, as well as control and touch and add careful ball placement adjustments whenever necessary. The 2-time Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year is also smart, confident passer who does a fairly good job of towing the line between being aggressive enough without being reckless. Given Stroud answered questions about his off-script ability versus Michigan and Georgia, the biggest concern is just how he will transition from Ohio State's offense. However, Wright and the staff has built in Carolina provide a great support system. All right. That's a fair analysis on it. And as expected, Houston, Texas taking Bryce Young overall, 2nd, which we, expected that to happen. Then coming down to number 3, the Arizona Cardinals taking Will Anderson Jr., which that makes sense. Will Anderson is probably the best defensive player in this draft. Number 4, the Indianapolis Colts taking Anthony Richardson, which makes a ton of sense for them as well. All right. Coming down to number 5, the Seattle Seahawks taking Jalen Carter. Moving on to number 6, the Detroit Lions taking Myles Murphy, defensive end from Clemson. At 7, go ahead, COT.
I was just gonna say I feel like Myles Murphy at 6 is a reach.
Hey, Wally, I want you to pull up, bro. I'm about to drop the link right now. Shout out to everybody that's here, man. Like and subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't done so already. We are covering Bleacher Report's latest mock draft. Hold on 1 second. Hey, COT, I think you got a lot of noise in your background too, bro. Give me 1 second.
How about now? You hear anything? You hear anything?
You good now, bro. I think you're good now.
Okay.
I'm going to drop the link, man, for whoever want to pull up. We're covering Bleacher Report's latest mock draft that they just put out. All right, we got Wally up in the building. Wally, what's going on with you, brother? All the way live from Germany, man. How's it going? Wally, can you hear me? Wally, can you hear me? Yo.
No. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, brother. How you living?
Wally, can you hear me? No. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, brother. How you living?
Okay, I'm living good, man.
Yeah, it's a little, I don't know what's going on. It's a little delay.
Okay, I'm gonna go out and come back in.
All right, sound good. Let's get back down to where we were at, man. Shout out to everybody that's pulling up to the channel, man. If you're new to it, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. We are here on MidDay Madness on Life is Just a Wave podcast, man. Make sure y'all turn on those notifications as well so that you guys will be notified every time your boy Big Waves go live. We live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern at noon with MidDay Madness in the mix. Got my boy COT in the building. Y'all already know what time it is, man. We are covering Bleacher Report latest mock draft based off of, all of the different changes and so on and so forth. All right. So let's get into it. Number 7, they have the Las Vegas Raiders taking Christian Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez, man, is going to be a beast in the NFL. I really feel like that. I feel like Christian Gonzalez is, man, what is going on with this thing? Why does it keep doing that? All right, number 8, they have the Atlanta Falcons taking Tyree Wilson, defensive lineman from. Hey, man, shout out. The Falcons is trying to make moves on the defensive side of the ball. How you feel about that, CLT?
I don't like it, obviously, because they're in our division. So, but it makes sense. They have one of the worst pass rush, so that makes sense to bolster the offense. The defensive line.
Yeah, they making moves on defense, man. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, the Carolina Panthers, this is their time to attack now. So number 8, Atlanta Falcons take in Tyree Wilson. At number 9, this is obviously the trade from Carolina. The Chicago Bears are taking offensive tackle Peter Skoronski from Northwestern. So they add protection.
I haven't heard a lot about the offensive tackles that coming out this year.
Yeah, it's not a ton. Yeah. It's not a ton. Yeah, not a ton coming out this year that are like superly highly ranked. But Skoronski is going to be a good tackle, man, for Justin Fields there in Chicago. Philadelphia Eagles, this is the pick that they got from New Orleans. They have them taking the edge from Iowa, Lucas Van Ness. Wally, you up here now? Wally, you good?
I'm good now, man.
All right, awesome, man. Awesome. So we're just going through this mock draft. Here at number 11, Tennessee Titans taking Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle, giving protection there. I'm actually surprised the Tennessee Titans would take, an offensive tackle. I thought that they would be aggressive with trading up and trying to get a quarterback. I don't think Ryan Tannehill is it. You You're right, CLT. They do have Quentin Johnson going as the number 1 wide receiver to the Houston Texans. So they get Bryce Young and Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. I've seen some people have JSN going in the second round.
Yeah. So let me see if Jackson Smith and Jigba is going in the first round here. Jets taking offensive tackle Broderick Jones. New England Patriots taking Joey Porter Jr. Joey Porter Jr. is going to be a problem. He really is. Green Bay taking tight end Michael Mayer, a weapon for the young quarterback Jordan Love. Washington Commanders taking quarterback Devin Witherspoon from Illinois. Pittsburgh Steelers taking Nolan Smith. Dang, man, they trying to ramp up. They already got TJ Watt. Detroit Lions taking Darnell Washington. They got Darnell Washington going in the first round. That's cool. Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking Will. They got Will Levis dropping all the way to 19. That's crazy.
I don't see Will Levis making it past the Raiders. If he do make it past the Raiders, I don't see him making it past the Titans.
Right. Yeah, him falling all the way to 19 is a little bit wild. Seattle Seahawks taking offensive lineman John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota. It's a few offensive linemen going. Zay Flowers going in. They got Zay Flowers going in the first round. And I was hoping that, listen, if he failed to Carolina, I would 100% be okay with this. Hey, Panther Nation, Zay Flowers is going to be something special. He really is. Zay Flowers is going to be a special talent at the next level. This is a guy that if he failed to Carolina at that 39th pick, the Panthers really got to see about making a trade for him, or at least trying to draft him.
What would you compare him to? And I'm asking that because I'm comparing him to Hollywood Brown, and I don't see the special shit. I don't see it.
I would give him a Christian Kirk.
No, man. Young Antonio Bryant.
Yeah, a young AB. Yeah, that is a good fit.
Yeah.
Hey, Wally, that is a good comparison, though, man. I like that comparison, Wally.
AB he was a monster when he first came in.
Yes, he did. A young AB.
How they saying his work ethic is, though? They say AB outworked everybody.
Yeah, let's read a little bit about what they're saying about Zay Flowers. Boston College wide receiver Zay Flowers will certainly boost the offense he ends up with. He's only 5'9", 182 pounds, so a smaller wide receiver. May not be the biggest receiver, but he adds significant juice with the abilities to separate and simply run away from defensive back. He ran a 4.42 40-yard dash. Speed is the antidote for the Chargers' recent stretch. That's who they got him going to. Flowers can bring Brandon Cooks-like presence and offer high-end versatility as well as reliable separation in man-to-man scenarios. Despite his build, Boston College all-time leading receiver brings enough flexibility to play both outside the numbers and inside. Flowers may not quite have the ball skill of Cooks, but with a quarterback like Herbert firing on pinpoint passes, there's not much of a concern. Flowers' main primary issue is size. So the size thing is a big factor with Flowers. What do you guys think about that?
I don't.
As you know,
when I see him play,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you got it. My bad.
Now, I said when I saw him play, it didn't matter. Inside, outside, size-wise, he was dominating every defensive back. So he was making the backs look like they were on skates all day long.
Yeah, y'all chill out in the comments, man. Yeah, what's going on over there? Y'all wilding over there, man. Only 2 safe QBs are Stroud, Young, Levis, and Richardson in risky drafts. Steve Smith cooked to tons of people. That's absolutely. So CLT, what was you saying about his size, bro?
I was saying I'm a fan of the bigger receiver. At least I would say 5'11". 5'9" is kind of a stretch.
Right. So they have the Baltimore Ravens taking defensive line Brian Brees. 23. Man, Jackson Smith and Jigba to the Vikings with Justin Jefferson.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I really hope that don't happen. I really hope that does not happen. So if Jackson Smith, we've seen what 3 wide receivers go already in the first round. Johnston, Zay Flowers, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Man, I was hoping that he would fall. Offensive tackle Darnell Wright to the Jacksonville Jaguars. New York Giants have another offensive lineman. And Bijan Robinson to the Cowboys at 26. Bijan to the Cowboys. How do y'all feel about that?
I don't think he falls that far. I don't think he falls that far. Not that far. But they'll be instantly replacing Zeke. But why would you draft Bijan Robinson when you got Tony Pollard? Well, that doesn't make sense to me.
1-2 punch, man, and then he a Texas native. You know how it go.
Mm-hmm. You got to have 2 backs. And plus, he's a juiced up version of. He's like Saquon. People don't see it. They've been burned by Saquon, but this guy's closer to Saquon than Zeke. So yeah, I'll take him all day long.
Yeah, Wally, I love that analysis that you said that he's actually more closer to Saquon. I 100% agree with you, man. BJ, listen, if the running back value, wasn't as low as it is right now, Bijan Robinson, man, would be a top 5 pick. But running back value obviously has decreased over the years. And then, shout out to everybody said on the side, Tony Pollard is coming off of a broken fibula too. So, that's another reason why it would make sense for the Dallas Cowboys to go running back here. But Bijan Robinson has top 5 talent. It's just that the market for running backs, man, and the value of running backs is just not what it once was in the NFL. So a team is risky to take a running back in the top 10 or top 15. So again, but Bijan Robinson, man, is an elite talent. An elite talent. We got Big Bro in the building. Big Bro just pulled up to the live, man. We here going over Bleacher Report's mock draft and seeing what they got to say about it.
Cool. What's going on? What's up, fellas?
What's good?
What it do, family? What it do, family?
So Buffalo Bills taking wide receiver Jordan Addison at number 27. That is now 4 wide receivers going in the first round. That's 4 wideouts going in the first round. Nick Jigba, Johnston, Flowers, and Jordan Addison.
Hey, Wave, that's outstanding. That means we can get Sanders in the second round.
Who you talking about? Drew Sanders?
Yeah.
Okay. CLT, how you feel about so many wide receivers going in the first round?
I can agree with them going in the first round. I just don't like the placing. For one, why would Buffalo take another receiver when they have a true number 1, true number 2, I can't think of the fucking name right now. But they got the true number 1 and true number 2. So why would they take a receiver at 27, the first round overall pick? I mean, I guess
that's the way out, brother.
I guess I would think Buffalo would take the running back from Alabama because they need a running back over a receiver. Jamar Gibbs.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer this supporter question. Real Panther talk with A&D at Life. I'm new a Panther content. What is the best advice trying to reach fans to come and check out live or content? Hey man, listen, just be yourself, bro. That's probably the biggest thing that I can say, man. Listen, the content and the followers will come. Have a ton of personality. Obviously, man, you want to make sure that you're having personality and be factual. You know what I'm saying? Be factual, be open and honest about your opinions. Don't shy away from your opinions. Stand on them, right or wrong. And, just create something good, man, that the people want to watch. And then obviously, man, stay true. Look, I'm not even where I want to be with this YouTube thing yet. But in due time, it'll all come together, bro. But just stay true to who you are, man. That's probably the biggest advice that I can give you, bro. I'll come and subscribe to your channel, man. You can reach out to me anytime. Real Panther Talk. I would love to chop it up with you, man. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel as well. I'll make sure to help you out, man. Whatever you need help out with, no doubt. All right, we get down to the last couple of picks in this first round. Let's see who we got here. Cincinnati Bengals taking offensive tackle. Thank God that they are getting more offensive line help. Hey, listen, the Bengals wasn't playing around with getting offensive line help this free agency for Joe Burrow, and they in the draft they got them taking more. That is the Bengals' biggest downfall. They have not been able to protect Joe Burrow, and it showed up in the playoffs. Moving on to 29, the New Orleans Saints got B.J. Ojulari from LSU. Linebacker from LSU. B.J. Ojulari, obviously I know a ton about this guy. Not the biggest defensive end in the world, but can play linebacker and is an aggressive pass rush. I'm surprised they got him going in the first round, though. And then 30, Philadelphia Eagles taking cornerback Dante Banks. I'm surprised that they have them taking a corner, especially because Darius Slay came back and they still have don't they still have, didn't they re-sign our old cornerback? Bradbury, yeah, they re-signed Bradbury. So I'm surprised they got them taking a corner.
And both of them back on 2-year deals, right?
Yep. Kansas City potentially taking Travis Kelce's future replacement, Tucker Kraft out of South Dakota State. Wally, I've been hearing a lot of things about this guy.
Yeah, he looks. Hey, think about it like this: he can get mentored by Jesus. This is unfair, man. This shit is unfair. You can't. These guys, they're gonna be stacked for the next 5 fucking years. Well, we're gonna get a chance.
Yeah, you can't get rid of the Chiefs, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. They just gonna be a problem. They are just going to be a problem, bro. Tucker Kraft is a dog. I hear everybody talking about it. I really don't know too much about Tucker Kraft. I always thought that your boy out of Utah was the top rated tight end, but they have Tucker Kraft, man. They have Michael Mayer going first and him going second. Will we put him above Dalton Kincaid with Utah?
No, you missed one.
Who's that?
Oh, Darnell Washington. Yep. So they have Tucker Kraft as the third best tight end.
It doesn't matter. If you're going to be playing with Kelsey, he's mentoring you. Come on, man. This is unfair. The dude can play.
Yeah. Okay.
Who's mock draft this here?
This is not a mock. This is Bleacher's Reports. The one that they just dropped this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, this Bleacher's Reports they just dropped this morning. And then last with a 32nd pick. Oh, it ain't no 32nd pick this year. Somebody
Miami got first round.
Oh, okay.
Tom Brady. I see they did Brady. Trying to get him before he was able to be spoken to and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, fellas. Let's go ahead and get into it now, man. We got the whole panel up here. Shout out to everybody, man. Listen, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe to it. We are here on MidDay Madness, man. We got our boy Wally all the way from Germany pulling up in the building. We got Big Bro on the road today, but he is popping in with us. And of course, man, Charlotte very own CLT in the building. Shout out to all the people in the chats. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, turn on those notification bell, man. Y'all hit that notification bell. So anytime that we go live, man, y'all not missing this Panther content. Fellas, why does CJ Stroud make sense to be our quarterback for the Carolina Panthers? All of their mock drafts called out. Actually, there was a report that came out yesterday, and I want to be clear on this. So let me pull this up, and I want to get y'all thoughts on this report. It was from NFL Insiders. Insiders believe, and this is per ESPN, Dan Graziano spoke with NFL owners at the meetings this week and believed that the Carolina Panthers are destined to select CJ Stroud with the #1 overall pick. The Carolina Panthers will have you believe they moved up from 9 to 1 in the draft without knowing which quarterback that they're taking. That is just bait. What do you guys think about that, man?
I mean, like we've been talking about, to me, that's not surprising. The report that's coming out, they really liked him at the pro day last week. They talked about how the Panthers coaches was gushing on him. So I did hear a report earlier. I was listening to the Fan this morning on the radio, and they said the same thing. There was another report that came out that they said, the rumors around the league was that the Panthers are going to select Stroud #1. It makes perfect sense, because what Stroud has done in college. He's accurate quarterback. He can make plays, man. We seen what he did against Georgia, the eventual national champions, man. The dude can hold his own, at the quarterback. And he's another one of the guys like we've talked about between him and Bryce that can come in day one and start, with this coaching staff. And it's going to be really good under this coaching staff. So this is my take on it.
All right, Wally, what's your thoughts on these reports, man, that CJ Stroud is the guy?
I believe he is the guy, and simply, I believe he's going to break the curse of the Ohio State quarterback for this reason. Unlike those other guys, he's more of a complete quarterback. Like the other guys, one was set in the pocket, he could be accurate, but he wasn't mobile, and he couldn't read defenses. But then you had a man that Fields' biggest thing was Fields had happy feet.
Yeah.
And he cures all of that. So I hope that we get the guy that broke the curse and we have for the next 10, 15 years.
I 100% agree. CLT.
I think it'll be a great selection. I do think all signs point to CJ Stroud. I think we can build a franchise around him. So I'm happy with the pick.
Now, let me ask you guys this question too. We know that CJ Stroud, if he ends up getting the Carolina Panthers pick, now do we see that CJ Stroud in this offense, man, is going to be ready to go from day one, right? We can throw him out there. He's going to be ready to go. This report also talks about, obviously that transition from Ohio State's offense. Now, I think we brought this up earlier. CJ Stroud has played with nothing but dogs at Ohio State, right? If you look at the wide receivers that he's had and how some of them are doing at the next level, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson with the New York Jets, those were who he had last year. And then this year, Jackson Smith, Nick Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr. Do we think that that's, a lot of his success has something to do on the wide receivers that he's played with, or is this guy he's just that guy?
I'll take it. I think, his wide receivers was definitely a big help. But I think he's that guy. I mean, his arm talent, strong arm. He's accurate. I mean, again, at the end of the day, you can have some of the best wide receivers, but if you can't get the ball to him, man, then hey, that's gonna make you a bad quarterback. So I don't think it just was the receivers, man. I mean, he's proven again. The guy was a Heisman Trophy finalist this year, and I think he's that guy in my opinion. So he's coming into this staff that Frank Reich and David Tepper put together. A young quarterback is gonna thrive, man. He's gonna get coached by some of the best coaches in the NFL. Quarterbacks, offensive coordinators, man, former head. I'm telling you, he's coming to the Panthers. They was also talking about this on the fan earlier today that any quarterback coming into this situation, it's a good situation, for a young quarterback. It ain't like, when someone drafted at number one normally come into a bad situation. That's not the case. With the Panthers, we have people in place for the quarterback to be successful, man, and it's just gonna fall on him. But I think he is that guy. I don't think he's just because of his receivers. But no, he's shown, man, he's that guy in my opinion.
So Wally, before you give your take, Mudbone was on the show yesterday, man, and we were talking about Anthony Richardson and so on and so forth. But he made a great point about Bryce Young, man, and it stood out to me. We were seeing Bryce Young play with wide receivers that had talent, and we've also seen him play this year without a great supporting cast. Now, to the original question, CJ Stroud pretty much has had dogs every year that he's been at Ohio State. Do you think that is on the mind of these decision makers, man, when they're talking about, which quarterback is the better, quarterback that, granted, listen, the Panthers have made moves to make the wide receiving core better and put weapons on the offensive side of the ball. But, granted, we, in my eyes, I still think that we're lacking a true number one wide receiver. So tell me what your thoughts about that is.
Well, one thing I love about CJ is this. Is CJ, his anticipation is not as good as Bryce. However, he throws his receivers open. Last year, if you look at our receivers, the quarterback threw where they should have been, not where they threw where they wanted them to be, not where they were going to be. And that's what I think is going to make our receivers stand out. And CJ, he's calm, cool, collective, and he knows where to go. Now, Bryce, the thing about Bryce that you were talking about, alluding to, is that Bryce, he has something that you can't teach, but he's too small. So I take CJ out there.
but again, man, and CLT, I'm gonna get your opinion on that, man. But again, if you asking me, right, and I'm pretty sure y'all fellas can agree on this. The only thing that's separating CJ Stroud and Bryce Young is height. Arm talent, there's no separation, right? These guys both can spin the damn ball. They both can throw, make all of the NFL throws. But again, that's the only thing that's separating them. 5'10" and 6'3", right? We're talking about a matter of 5 inches that's separating, these guys, right? At max, 4 to 5 inches. And that's it. Well, go ahead, CLT, man. I'm gonna let you go ahead, man. We're talking about the weapons.
So yes, it's concerned because, like you said, all those guys are considered to be true number ones that he's played with.
They all the beats at the next level.
Right, they're considered true number ones. But what I would say is different. It's comparable. We have a true committee, I would say. Not the best committee, we have a true committee. We have DJ Chark coming in, big number one receiver, potential number one receiver, just couldn't stay healthy.
Right.
Sure hands can stretch the field. You got the true route runner, Adam Thielen, true veteran, going to give you 700 to 800 receiving yards each year. We have Terrence Marshall on the rise that was considered a first-round talent but had the heart condition. So he has the potential in our receiving corps, and if we add another receiver, it will help him out. But you can't ignore the fact that he had a great helping hand with the receivers that he had in college.
Yeah, and that's really just a point, man, that I'm trying to make because, again, like Garrett Wilson is going to be the number one wide receiver for the Jets this year, right? And Chris Olave is probably the number one wide receiver, obviously, because Michael Thomas has not been able to healthy, and both of those guys play with CJ Stroud. And then even if you're looking at the guys that have come out, Jackson, we just saw it. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the number one wide receiver, going in the first round. All of these guys are going, and then next year, Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably going to be the highest drafted wide receiver in NFL history. Like I was talking about this earlier, Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably going to be the number 2 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft. A lot of the mock drafts already have him going number 2. So he's played with dogs. Bryce Young, I don't even think there's an Alabama wide receiver that's going in the first 2 rounds of the NFL this year. So
3 rounds, brother.
I'm not saying that that's not a difference. Go ahead, Wiley.
Hey, his wide receivers, I don't think they go in the top 3 rounds. They're not good.
They're not right. That's what I'm saying. They're not good at all. So for Bryce to still not have the talent that he had there and still had that team 1 game away from being into the playoffs, I'm just saying, man, like, that's just a topic, man, that we haven't talked about enough, man, is does your weapons, having those kind of weapons, make a difference? Would CJ be the same guy without those guys? That's what I'm asking.
I think, again, obviously having great wide receivers help. I mean, that's any quarterback. It's gonna help you, right? But I think the guy, Stroud, with those great wide receivers, like you can clearly see, man, the dude got, first round, number 1, top pick talent, man. I mean, he's just what he's done. So, I mean, we can argue all day about, well, yeah, he played with great wide receivers. I mean, and again, this no knock on Bryce. Yeah, Bryce didn't have the great receivers this year. Now, I know I'm an Alabama fan, but he played, with Devontae Smith as well. The year before he had really good receivers. So
yeah, he did.
I mean, you can't. as far as the comparison, if you're using just that to compare the two from last season, I mean, both of them.
It's not fair.
It's not right. It's not fair. Both of them don't play with great receivers. I mean, Bryce played with Devontae Smith. I mean, I think at least for one. No, he didn't play with Smith. He played with Waddle
And Mechie.
And Mechie. Yeah, he played Waddle and Mechie. He didn't play with Smith. That was Mac Jones that played with Smith. But yeah. So the question is, whether he can perform with subpar receivers. I mean, hey man, he can make the throws. It's just up to the receivers to be able to catch the ball. So I mean, we're not questioning his talent and his IQ because he's still. I mean, quarterback, and we all know, fellas, is the toughest position to play in the NFL. Right, regardless of who your receivers is. So he still has the football IQ to make the right decisions. To make all the necessary throws. So again, to me, that's not a question, man. It's not a question whether, if that's what we use if they're gonna take it again. I'm pretty sure the Panthers are not considering that, who his receivers was when they're making this evaluation.
Absolutely.
So
T. Thompson is on my ass, man. Listen, I'm just sparking a little controversy here, man, on the channel. He on my ass. He said, who cares what weapon CJ had? What's the issue? Who did Joe Burrow have? But T. Thompson, Joe Burrow was the consensus #1 overall pick coming out, man. That's all I'm saying. But I'm just starting a little controversy. The weapons.
No. I got to say something about that, bro.
Yeah, go ahead, Wally, because I'm ready to argue you down on this one.
Burrow has
Chase. You're breaking up, Wally. You're breaking up. Say it again.
Oh, man, it's Minnesota now.
Justin Jefferson.
Those guys are #1. I think Marshall's #1 too. He just hasn't had a quarterback yet.
Well, he just got to stay healthy. That's all. If listen, I watched Terrace Marshall Jr. his whole career at LSU. I know what kind of wide receiver he can be if he stays healthy, man. And he showed flashes of that last year. So I think it ain't no question if Terrace Marshall Jr. can be a dog. I think Terrace Marshall Jr. is a dog. I just think that he just got to be able to stay healthy. That's all that it come down to. That's all that it come down to, man. When we talk about it. But I just wanted to stir up some controversy. But I got to get me and CLT already talked about this. But Big Bro and Wally, I got to get y'all opinion on this, man. Yesterday was Anthony Richardson's pro day. What do you guys take away from his pro day here, man? Did that pro day help his stock? Did it hurt his stock? What do you guys think, man, about what y'all saw? If y'all caught highlights of it or if you caught it live, I actually have the highlights of his pro day on my channel in my short section of the YouTube channel. Make sure y'all go check that out if y'all haven't seen it already. Go take a look at Anthony Richardson's pro day. What are y'all thoughts about Anthony Richardson pro day from yesterday?
I mean, I saw some highlights. I didn't get to see it live, but the pro day, I thought his pro day was exactly what I thought it was going to be. To me, he didn't improve or drop his stock. In my opinion, I think exactly what I was expecting to see. He made some good throws. Showed his arm talent. They was trying to make a big deal about him hitting the roof on one of his throws, which hell,
Bryce Young did the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, hell, Jamarcus Russell did the same thing.
He's got a big arm, man. I mean,
yeah, I mean but we knew that though. We knew that he had a big arm. So what we seen yesterday was nothing that we haven't seen.
Right.
So he didn't help, or his draft stock didn't drop. I mean, so it was exactly what everybody thought it was gonna be. So that's my take on it, man. I didn't see nothing that was like, oh man, this dude, wowed me. I didn't see nothing that was like, okay, this dude, fell off the chart. So it's just, again, man, the potential is there. He got hella upside to be a great prospect. It could be a few years from now one of the top quarterbacks in the league, whoever take him. I just think he's not done enough for the Panthers to draft from number 1, man. So, you know.
And if you watched it, I watched it live. Right. I watched it. I watched it live. And when he first started, man, they had him throw like some short throws. I don't know if this was scripted or off scripted, which it didn't make no sense, man. They had him throw like some throws like to the sideline from like running backs coming out the flat. Man, he missed on all of them shits, man. Like he he missed on all of the short throws, like throws to the running backs out. Like they were doing like some hooks early, comeback routes. The ball was high. On those short to intermediate throw. But I'm with you on that, Big Bro. I don't think that he did something to hurt or help his draft stock. I think we seen whatever we had to see. Wally, go ahead, man. What was your takeaways? I don't know if you seen any of the highlights.
No, I saw it live, and I wasn't impressed. I left.
I
there,
wasn't
was like,
either.
man, I was like, come on, bro, you could have did better than this. And the thing about it, you're right. He misses all the shorts, the majority of the short throws, not all of them, but the ones
Yep.
he made, it was, if somebody was playing the receiver, I don't think he'd have made it. So he's one of those guys where he needs like a year or so, and he may be amazing, but we can't take that chance on number 1 draft pick.
Yeah. I absolutely agree, man. Shout out to everybody, man, that's pulling up to the chat. Like and subscribe to the channel, man, if y'all haven't done so already. Make sure you like this video, man. Y'all got to hit the like button on this, man. It's only going to help the algorithm. Hit the like button on this video. Turn on notifications as well. We are live in it, man, at the hour and a half mark, man, on this MidDay Madness. MidDay Madness in the mix, man. Hey, so also, man, report just came out on the Panthers' needs post-pro days, post-free agency, and this is per Bleacher Report. Every team at the team need going forward, man, and they have Carolina needing I just want to know if you guys agree with it and how we should address this. Top needs for the Carolina Panthers going forward. Obviously, quarterback is number 1. We know that. But they have cornerback and edge as the second most important needs for the Carolina Panthers right now. Cornerback being the second one, edge being the third. So what are you guys' thoughts on that, man? And how do y'all feel like we should address these moves going forward? Keep in mind, we still have a ton of cap space left. Draft is right around the corner, but our highest pick is 39. How do y'all feel like the Panthers should address these needs, man, and the rest of these holes that we have on the team?
So this is what I think, man. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right. Yeah. So as far as how I agree with the need. The report definitely quarterback. We all know that, and edge. Really important position to be the opposite side of Brian Burns. Which we talked about before. I think, we should see what we can do in the draft. Obviously, for edge rusher, see if we can hit on that. And I think after the draft, they can go get one of the free agents that you talked about before on a previous video, man, like a Jadeveon Clowney, Guakwe that I think we read the list. There are some of those guys that they can hit on, and I think they probably gonna do it, man, either after the draft or close to a training camp to see who left, and you can get one of those guys on a good deal. So that's how we should address those two. Just because I agree, we definitely got to have another edge rusher. That way, it can take the pressure off of Brian Burns. Because if you can get him in a one-on-one situation, 9 times 10, man, he gonna win one-on-one situations.
Now, let me ask you this question. While you're on the topic of that, how many more injuries are we away from calling J.C. Horn injury prone?
Really just depends. This is his 3rd year going, so I would say depends on how many games he played this year, man. Again, if he's out for a decent amount of time this year, I'm gonna say, if he missed more than 3-4 games, man, I'm gonna call him injury prone.
Because I'm starting to get concerned. I'm starting to get concerned, man. I really am starting to get concerned with JC Horn, man, and his ability to stay healthy. Wiley, what's your thoughts on that, bro?
Hey man, I'm looking at you know me, I'm all about that linebacker in the second round. But
Right.
also I was looking at Jonathan Mingo as a receiver. If you haven't looked at him yet.
Okay.
Jonathan Mingo, man, he's like the seventh or I think sixth or seventh ranked receiver. That
Okay.
guy will be good. He'd be a good pickup because what he'll do is if God forbid that Shark doesn't re-sign next year with him and with the receivers we got, we'll be set. We'll be set for the next few years. And now going back to the need, we definitely need a cornerback. But I don't think JC is injury prone. I think like last year was a freak accident. Freak accidents happen to everybody. So if
Yeah,
you can get
man,
14,
but it's
if you can get 14, 15 games out of a 17-game season, I think you're good, man.
yeah, man. But the
Yeah,
thing
I
about
agree.
it is too, you got to remember, man. You know, JC Horn was the number one. You know, we took him number 8 in the draft, man, and we all know your biggest ability in the NFL is availability. And for an 8th overall pick, you know, for them not to stay healthy. Granted, it was a freak injury with the wrist, thing last year. But again, man, I just don't. I'm on the bandwagon with everybody else, man. One more injury, man. I'm concerned. Like I
I
really
can't
am concerned, Wiley.
I can't say I agree there, my boy, because one, the true injury is the ankle injury, right?
The
That's I
foot.
would say the foot. That's a true injury. Last
Okay.
year it's considered really, like you said, a freak injury. He's where he's supposed to be, and somebody put the helmet in his wrist. That's something he can't. That's something you can't avoid. You're where you're supposed to be making a tackle, and somebody put the helmet in his wrist. You can't avoid that. So I wouldn't
But
say injury.
COT, the point that I'm trying to make is that freak injury or non-freak injury, he was hurt. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, his foot injury was a freak injury. It was a non-contact injury.
But injury prone to me is saying like you're fragile, you're easily broken up, right? I think the foot injury would lean towards somebody being more injury prone than someone putting a helmet in your wrist.
Come on, CLT. Bro, this
Well,
man literally took 2-3 steps back and his foot exploded. Shout out to
always.
Mudbone, man. We got Mudbone in the building. What's up with it, man?
What's going on? Shout out to Wavez. Shout out to the panel. Salute. What's
Yeah,
going on?
so we here talking about it, but go ahead, CLT. And while I know y'all about to say something, then Mudbone, we're gonna let you get your spot, man.
Me and you talking about his feet. I mean, as a cornerback, the feet is one of the most important body parts. He uses feet. He's backpedaling all game. You know what I'm saying? That's realistic to happen to a cornerback.
Yeah, but CLT, like I get what you're saying that these were freak accidents that happened. But what I'm saying is that listen, we can name a lot of players who had a lot of freak accidents that happened to them, but they just kept happening left and right. Like what Tua has happened has been freak accidents. The way he's been getting concussion after concussion after concussion. But the point that I'm trying to make is that they're still injuries.
I mean, yeah, I see what they saying, Wiley, CLT, but JC Horn, it keeps happening to him, man. Is the point, right?
Right.
What did they freak injury? However you want to describe it, wasn't his fault or whatever. It still happened to him, right? You can't change that. So, meaning those injuries has caused him not to be on the field. We see what he can do once he's on the field, and he's very good once he's on the field. But these injuries, whatever you want to call them, free accident or no fault of his own, has caused him to miss time. So, meaning, if I see one more of these freak accidents or whatever you want to call it, yes, he's injury prone. I mean, because it keeps happening to him.
Okay, I'm gonna hit y'all up.
Part of playing in the NFL is you're gonna have injuries, but man, like, okay, this is our third.
Name me 5 players that played all 17 games last year off the top of your head.
You said 5?
5
other than quarterback.
9 quarterbacks?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
you said all
Tyreek Hill.
17?
Yeah.
I think Tyreek Hill played a full season. I don't think he missed a game.
So you notice what you just did? You named one person out of how many?
I mean, we
See?
got to look.
Come on
It's a
now.
lot of
Come on,
players
come on,
that.
It's
man.
a lot of players that have played a full
Yeah,
season, y'all. I can't name them right off my head.
But
All right.
that just goes to show you injury is very common in the
There you
world's
go.
most physical game.
Go ahead. Hit him up. Don't let Wade get away with this. Come on, man. This ain't right. This ain't right. This ain't. Hey, now I'm normally
Go ahead,
calm, but
Wally.
this ain't right,
Get on
brother.
me, Wally. Get on me,
This
man.
this ain't right, man. Check this out.
Go
So
ahead.
if it's more than one injury a year, right? I can understand. Maybe it's 3, 4 a year. Every time he getting on the field, he got an injury. That hasn't happened. He doesn't have one injury, and then he's out. That's what I'm saying.
They've been season-ending injuries. That's the thing of what I'm saying.
If we were playing, he'd have been in the playoffs last year. Come on, you know that.
Yeah, with a club on his hand. He would have.
Don't matter. He'd have been. How many people played with a club? A lot of people.
So, what I'm saying is, I guess what I'm saying, and Mudbone, I would love to get your opinion on this. The Carolina drafted him number 8, top 10 pick 2 years ago. He's only played. They were talking about J.C. Horn in like out of what was it, 30 plus games. He's only played, man, like in 50, like what they say, like 17 games, like since he's been in the NFL. You get what I'm saying? And for a number 1 overall pick, that does concern me, man. What's your thoughts about that, Mudbone?
Well, so what was that a 50%? Is that a 50% games played in his possible career?
Let me get the specific numbers up right here.
You said 30 games and he played 17. That's
a little over.
That's a little over half.
50%.
Yeah, so I mean,
he done played 16 games, career games total since he's been in the NFL.
Out of how many? What, 30?
Well, if we do the math, okay, so he played. This is his second season. So what we do? Just 17 plus 17.
No, it was 16 and 17.
It was 16 the year before.
16 plus 17 this year. So yeah, 16 games out of 33.
He's at 49 point something percent. But watch this. Hold on a second. Watch this. If it was Thomas Davis, according to your analysis, we wouldn't have Thomas Davis. He wouldn't be in the circle. He wouldn't be a Panther great. How many knee injuries did he have? Come on, man.
We didn't take Thomas Davis, if I'm not mistaken. We didn't take him in the top 10.
Top 10.
But he was first round.
He was first round, was top 10. No.
So what's the average ratio for, you know what I'm saying? What's the average for DBs as what in the top 10 as far as games played is like what's the
Bro, the average is, I'll tell you, they play all the games. Look at, bro, we can look at a top corner. I'm gonna give you one that played all games last season
year.
was, bro. Look at what's your boy in Dallas, bro, Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah,
he played all games last year. So for y'all to tell me that because injuries happen that it's impossible to play for all the games. Plenty of players do it every single year. This is right. So we can't use that as saying, well, yeah, injuries happen beside quarterback. No, man. He's been injury prone.
But think about it. You had to think and research that very rigorously to figure it out. That's not common. The more often than none, you're going to get hurt throughout the 17 games. That's
not through your first 2 years of your
career. And that's why I don't like speaking on injuries, because people don't keep the same energy when it comes to people and injuries, bro. People have different standards for people getting injured at this and that, and it's just, I don't know, bro. It's just a whole.
Let me make this point,
preaching,
y'all, fellas.
Hey, let's keep preaching, because Wade's full of it today on this one. I can't do this without.
Why? But let me make this point to you then. Okay, look, is not as big a listen. Injuries happen. It's a part of the game of football. We all know that, right? But it's a difference between being hurt and being injured, right? We all know if you play football, everybody plays hurt, right? Everybody plays hurt, but being
at some point,
the injury, but being injured is a whole different ball game. Okay, injury means that you cannot physically capable of stepping out on the football field to help your team contribute to getting a W. That's what an injury definition is. What I'm saying for J.C. Horn, he's only been in the league for 2 years, bro. Only been in the league for 2 years. A top 10 pick, and has only played 16 games. Like if this was a quarterback that we was talking about, he would probably already have the title of injury prone.
Here's the thing though, Wade, right? You said injury versus hurt, right? Injuries where you can contribute to the team, or where you can't contribute. Hurt, you can contribute, but you're hurt. But don't they say
you can play hurt?
If you play hurt and you play bad, you're going to get the same analysis because you on the field, right or
Bro,
wrong.
you have to play hurt in the NFL. Everybody is hurt in the
NFL. And that's why I wanted to say, because wouldn't like the injury levels and like the percentage of games played with different positions and the injuries, like you said with the quarterback, if a quarterback played half the games, it would be something like that they would be saying about him. You know what I'm saying? But this is a corner, so is it different, or do we keep the same energy? That's why I really don't want to call him injury prone, because I see why you're saying he's injury prone, because if that was a quarterback, we would be calling him injury prone, bro.
But
let's just keep it 100.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you something. That's what, and this is for everybody. Now you say he played a total of 16 games, right?
Out of 33 eligible.
Out of 30, okay. So what that means, fellas, in his 2-year career, he's missed an entire season.
Right. Facts.
Let's put it like that.
That's
so
facts.
Meaning he's missed the entire season out of 2 years. However you want to break it down. So to me, no matter what position you play, quarterback, running back, line, it don't matter. If you miss an entire season out of 2 years, that's a problem, bro.
That's an issue.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
remember, because we keep the same energy for everybody. So you know what I'm saying.
Right,
that's why.
Let's hear Wiley's point of view. Go ahead.
All right, now. So I talked about this on another podcast. People don't talk about our strength and conditioning coaches. All left and went to Washington, and then they brought that bullshit ass college coaches in there. And look what we got. Look what we got. So what I'm saying is, let him get through this year, because he got proper weights, strength and conditioning coaches. Let's see what's the deal now. Now, if it's this year, it's the same, we'll keep that same energy.
Well, that's what we said.
That's what I said.
He's one injury away from me. I'm gonna be honest with you. If he gets hurt this year and he missing 5 to 6 games, I'm gonna say it. He is injury prone. And honestly, because with what we invested into him, the return on investment hasn't been good enough over the first 3 years of his career, is what I'm saying. So another injury this year from J.C. Horn, I'm going to have to label him that, man. And in the Panthers' mind, that shit should cause an alarm to go off, because, bruh, somebody that we took in the first round hasn't played, a full season yet, and and the thing about J.C. Horn, he's still young as shit, man. He's super young, so
he's still on his rookie deal.
Injuries this early is concerning. That's all I'm saying, Wiley. That's it. We all know that when he healthy, bro, he's one of the best corners in the NFL, and arguably you can argue him as the best corner in the NFL when he's healthy, right?
Okay, got this. Check this out. Look at the other teams that got trash strength and conditioning coaches, and look how many injured players do they have. That is a direct correlation.
So you break it up, Wiley.
Okay, let me take these headphones off.
Hey, hold on, let me say something.
Go ahead, Mo.
Don't they have that report for the strength and conditioning? Didn't they come out with that report card or some shit like that? They had a report card where they had the facilities, the how people were friendly, the strength. They had a survey with all the teams, and they had like the grades for strength, because Arizona was trash. Remember, Arizona had people paying for their own food and shit like that. And then they were saying how they workout rooms was trash as fuck.
Yeah, there was that where they rated the players rated each organization.
So shit, we can look at the strength and conditioning from that. As far as that grade from last year, that's about the only thing that I can rely on, because I don't want to put no opinion, because I don't know the strength and conditioning and shit like that. So I would have to go off the survey and what the players say about that.
Okay. I got you, but check this out. When we had our ones that went to Washington, we were always number 3 or number 4, sometimes 2 in the league. The whole time Rivera was there. And that's how every time in December we got stronger and stronger and stronger. That's all I'm saying. You got to look at it's a total team. Everybody plays a part, the whole organization. So that trash we had before that I don't want to call his name, man, he didn't do these players any justice.
All right, here go the report cards that came out. These were all graded by NFL players, right? Treatment of families. So it's broken down, man. It's broken down in, from the treatment of players, families, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna go through each team. Hold on. They say $1,300 players provided information to share with one another about their current club, not only to help them make important career decisions, but also help raise standards across the league. All right. So let's go with the teams who got the A pluses first. All right. So based off this survey, Dallas Cowboys had an A plus. The Carolina Panthers have a A. The Minnesota Vikings have a A. The Buffalo Bills have an A minus. The Green Bay Packers have a B plus. Houston Texans have a B plus. The Colts have a B plus. The New Orleans Saints have a B plus. The Giants have a B plus. The 49ers have a B plus. The Seattle Seahawks have a B plus. The Atlanta Falcons have a B. The Detroit Lions have a B. The Chiefs have a B. The Raiders have a B. The Eagles have a B minus. And now we're getting into the bad scores. The Titans have a B minus. The Ravens have a C plus. The Dolphins have a C plus.
They was beat up.
The Jets have a C plus.
They was definitely beat up.
The Browns have a C. The Bears have a C minus. The Patriots have a C minus. The Broncos have a D plus. The Rams have a D plus. The Buccaneers have a D plus.
They was hurt.
The Chargers have a D minus. The Steelers have a D minus. The only teams with an F are the Cardinals, the Bengals, the Jaguars, and the Commanders.
A couple of them
have an A.
Okay, if you notice the correlation, the good teams are the wealthy owners. The bad teams are not considered the wealthy owners.
Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers got an F, bro, and that's a premier organization.
We're talking about money, though.
Washington got a lot
they
of
got
money.
money.
But hey,
Well,
they didn't just talk about the strength and condition. What they talked about was the overall facilities and whatnot.
Yeah, they was talking about the whole organization.
Talking about the organization as a whole.
Yeah, but the strength and conditioning coaches, that was on that subject. And if with the C's and the C pluses, you can see that a lot of them teams was beat up this past year, man.
Yeah, there are a lot of players out.
Especially with the Chargers. The Jets
got decimated by injuries this past year.
Yeah, Jets did too. They lost their whole outfit. They lost their offensive line and run game.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So the Rams, especially the Rams, look, they had hella injuries. So and what they had a C minus.
Yeah, the Rams. I can't, man. Yeah, the Rams, bro.
They had hella injuries. So it's a correlation. It's not a coincidence.
Buccaneers too had a ton of injuries.
But to be honest, he's kind of whoever said that about Jason Horn not being injury prone and having freak accidents, freak injuries. That kind of goes to his point, because if they got an A plus staff rating, or you know what I'm saying, at least they coaches, they telling them what to do. They telling them the right stuff.
Hey, what's
so
the
maybe it is a freak accident.
What? Yeah, I can't remember, man. Ryan Vermillion was our lead trainer. I don't know if he's still there. I think he went over. He followed Ron Rivera over to the Commanders, but we had Ryan Vermillion, right? And he was our lead athletic, trainer and so on and so forth. But the point that I'm trying to make, man, if the Panthers got an A out of all 32 teams, man, with, the treatment of players, so on and so forth, their conditioning and their overall, bruh, that just speaks to the point when we were saying, Wally, like freak accidents. That's like you, Wally. I'll give you as an example, right? If you on a job and working any job, and anybody can answer this, if I keep fucking up, man, and making mistakes, or, I make something or I do something that doesn't allow me, like with me, I type a lot. If I break my damn hand 2 years in a fucking row and I can't do my job, man, you know what they gonna tell? You know what they gonna say?
You gotta go.
You a risk, man. You gotta be a risk. We can't. we can't
You can't
have
compare
you
that
at
to
the
injuries though, because that's
I
different. Injuries are out of your control. You fucking up at your job and not doing your job, what you're supposed to do. You can control it. So that's one thing. That's what I'm gonna point that out.
Nah, I can slip down the step. I can slip down the steps, a freak accident, and break
Come
my
on,
damn
man.
limb.
Don't
But
slip and
Now you
fall.
said you weren't performing at your job, so that's why
yeah,
I said that. You didn't
no,
say
I'm
no
saying that my
slipping.
injury wouldn't allow me to perform at my job. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, Jesus.
Like if I kept getting work comp claims, right? Because I
Okay,
slipped on a damn ice cube in the fucking cafeteria and
okay,
busted my
plastic
shit.
man.
Shit, you getting drug test for that.
You feel what I'm saying?
I got a
Yep.
question on y'all.
Go ahead, CLT.
So with those surveys being said, right, from the outside looking in as a fan, right, if you see situations as far as how Cam was done, how Christian McCaffrey was done, how DJ Moore was done, all these players are considered face of our franchise as far as driving them to the dirt and basically letting them go. Steve Smith, you know what I'm saying? So I don't agree that from outside looking in, we don't look as a
Bro, we a
great
horrible
business.
organization. Well, we
Exactly.
were a horrible organization. I'm saying that shit as a fan.
So
I don't
don't see
understand how we got an A.
Yeah,
Maybe the
that's what
players like Carolina more than the fans do. I was
And,
shocked that we got an A.
and I'm surprised we got an A because look at the turf.
I mean, you got to keep in mind though, like everybody got to keep in mind as far as that. I mean, and CLT, you made a good point about certain players that was done a certain way. I mean, the situation, you know, like with Cam. Well, first I'm gonna make this point. So in the NFL, any NFL player, you gotta treat, you playing in the NFL as a business, right? So
Right.
meaning, everything you can't be loyal to a team, right? Because
Fact.
at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to business. You might be performing, but this team may not give a damn about you. In just a situation with Cam where, Ron Rivera kept sending him out there, and Cam kept wanting to go out there. He didn't take care of himself. So some of the shit he was done wrong, absolutely by the org, but Cam didn't protect himself
That's
as
true.
well. Like these players, you in the NFL, you gotta protect yourself, meaning do what's best for you and your family, whether it's contract wise, going out there playing injured. When it comes down to even, I was watching a podcast earlier this week, and it was Bates, Michael Bates, former Tennessee Titans player.
Oh yeah, the raw
He
room.
was saying, man, you got to even come. The raw. It even come down to what these teams want to give you, like as far as to take from the trainers to get you back on the field, because all them teams care about, any organization, is that, hey man, can you get out there and play on Sunday? So that's what you got to take into effect as a player. Well, treat this like a business. So the organization may be, again, the Panthers, the organization overall now is probably decent. Again, I've never been a player in the organization, but it also comes back on the player, man. You can't be loyal to no organization, man. Just like, go ahead, O'Reilly. Go ahead.
What I want to say in contrast to that, when you do that, protect yourself as a player, that's when the contusion comes. The narratives about you become, he's a diva. He's not a team player.
That's fact.
He's not for the organization.
But that's fine though, right?
No,
that's
it's
fine.
not. You won't get out the
CLT.
contract. You don't get
No,
out the contract.
because at the end of the day, the purpose is when you go to the NFL, go in there and get as much money as possible while you can, right?
That's true.
Right.
That's
So
true.
so meaning I gotta protect myself and do what's best for me and my family, because the NFL gonna spit you up and wash you out in a few years anyway, regardless if you at the top or in the middle of the pack. So meaning those narratives gonna come out. Those narratives may come out and say, well, I'm doing okay, that's fine. Hey, I know at the end of the day, I done made, ton of money to change my family, future. If I don't get picked up by another team, hey, fuck it, man. I still got my health. At the end of the day, that's what a lot of players, they don't. A lot of players don't think like that. They think like, well, shit, I gotta, go out here and perform. I want to, get out, which is fine if that's your stand. But don't complain about the organization. Like, you knew these motherfuckers were fucked up. They didn't give a damn about you. They like the NFL. means not for long, meaning, and also means what can you do for me now on the field? That goes back to J.C. Horn. He has not been on the field, unfortunately.
That's
But
facts.
the Panthers, they looking at it like, well, shit. Okay, bro, you on a rookie deal. They're not paying him a ton of money, so we're going to see what he's going to do this year. But potentially, let's say if he, I hope he don't have a, injury this year. But let's just say if he does, and he's out for a significant amount of games, then most likely the Panthers going to fucking release him. I mean, and they love him as an organization, but business-wise, he's not helping us. So that's what it boils down to at the end of the day, man. You gotta, as a player and even as a fan, you gotta look at you can't let your emotions get caught up in the shit, man, because the NFL is a business at the end of the day. The team gonna do what's best for them. So
Yeah, go ahead, Wally.
Hey, you're right. And the sad part is, I was looking at a podcast with J.C. Horn, and I also looked at one with Chin. Man, these guys be listening to us. I'm just saying this. Yeah, they be listening to us. I'm just saying this. It's hard to sit here and do analysis and listen to those guys' podcasts and go, this.
Yeah, I'm with you, Wally. J.C. Horn, listen, man, I love you as a player. If you're listening in, I love you as a player. I think that you're a talented guy. This is just an analysis, man. Like, as a fan, like, this is the thing. Like, I think Stephen A. Smith said something about this, man. Like, he was just on a recent interview, and he said it, man. Like, players can't take, like, just like their job is a business or a job, this is our job and as a business as content creators, man, to analyze what these guys are doing, what they're not doing. This has nothing to do against J.C. Horn as a player. I would love to have him up here on the show. Would love to do an interview. I think that he is talented, man. But again, it also comes down, man, to like knowing football, right? And knowing your football team. Like, I know that J.C. Horn is one of the greatest corners in the NFL. Hell, I took a picture with him. I got J.C. Horn autograph, got a picture with him. I can post it up here. Met him in Houston when he got hurt in the game. Big bro know this. I was in Houston when we played them his rookie year, and we had them on Thursday night. I met J.C. Horn in the mall.
Yeah, he did. He did.
That day, met him in the mall. Cool, stand-up guy. Me and him about the same height, all of that. And, talk to him for a little bit and everything. But, man, what I'm saying is I'm talking about the future of the football team. So this is not, directed at him.
No, sir.
But when you're talking about being a top 10 pick, and I'm sure he understands this as a player, when you're a top 10 pick, your expectation is that we're drafting you here so that you can contribute and stay on the field and help this team right away for years to come, right? And any player, any star player, we could talk about Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin is a wide receiver that we know when he's healthy, he's a threat, but can't stay on the field. How many players' careers, Andrew Luck could have been one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game, but could never stay on the field? Like,
yes, sir.
Injury can kill your career, man.
And Kadar, I'm gonna give you a recent guess since we talk about the Panthers. Luke Kuechly, one of the greatest linebackers.
Right, there you
played
go.
For the Panthers.
Luke Kuechly, greatest linebacker. Arguably could have been the greatest linebacker to ever play this game.
He had a short career, like due to injuries. Like he had to give it up because you know what? He thought about himself. Like Luke could have went back out there and played. But
I wouldn't have wanted that one.
I mean, I wouldn't have wanted that to happen too.
He didn't want to risk his life.
But what I'm saying, he thought about it. He said, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to get his game up, but it's affecting my life. Like like again, it's so much more these players can do after football. Like the average NFL player only is 3.5 years is what they play in the league for. Anything longer than that, you blessed.
It's a blessing, right? Bro. It's a
so,
blessing.
but you talk about 3.5 years out your life, something that worked for since you was a peewee. Like these guys, get the money while you can. That's why I never knock nobody about their contract situation. Get the money while you can, but bro, at the end of the day, especially when it comes to injuries and doing what's best for you and your family, hey man, you got a life to live after football,
And I give you another situation. Let's talk about Christian McCaffrey. He was a guy we invested a lot into, gave him a big contract. He couldn't stay healthy. But this year he showed This year he showed with San Francisco that he could stay healthy. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that J.C. Horn can't do it, but again, man, even McCaffrey injuries didn't really start to pile up until his, fourth or fifth year in the league. What I'm saying for J.C. Horn, man,
I got you.
Like,
and see, and the difference between those two, McCaffrey got his second contract.
Yeah.
Horn still working on that second contract, right? He on the rookie deal, so meaning this is he's getting to that point where all right, this third and fourth year is those proven years to where is any team gonna make a long-term investment where he get top dollar as one of the best cornerbacks in the league. So, like I said, this is not. The guy's a great corner on the field. I hope he does well. Again, I'm talking from the point of the organization and business. Hey, if he comes out this year and gets injured where he's missed more than 4 to 5 games, then yes, he's considered injury prone. But I hope that doesn't happen because we need Horn. We need J.C. Horn. We need him to be.
Man.
Yeah.
You could argue that J.C. Horn was the difference of us not making the playoffs last year.
Ain't no argument. That's the truth.
You feel what I'm saying? So, listen, JC, we need you, man. We support you and we love you, man. We just got to stay healthy. Hey, look, we give Terrence Marshall Jr. hell about how injured he's been since he came into the league.
Yeah.
While certain people call him Mr. Plastic.
I don't do that. No.
You get what I'm saying?
I heard that. I heard that yesterday.
Right, you get what I'm saying. We give them so much hell about how injured he's been in the league, but everybody want to create a different narrative because of J.C. Horn. But in my eyes, he's just been hurt just as much as Terrence Marshall Jr. And you get what I'm saying? And
that goes back to the beginning point that you had when you said that all the injuries is the same. You don't look at it as from positional standpoint because
they not no accident.
Yep, no accident because they not keeping that same energy with Terrence Marshall Jr. They calling him Mr. Plastic. So if they calling him Mr. Plastic, what the fuck? Are we supposed to spare Horn because he was the top 10 pick?
Agreed, man. That's the only thing that I was saying on them, fellas. My hope and my prayer is that the kid can stay healthy, man, all year long and be the player that we drafted him to be, man. But from what I'm saying, from a business perspective, the Carolina Panthers have to be thinking inside their head, well, especially with Dante Jackson. We could even move on to the second corner. He's a corner who hasn't been able to stay healthy throughout his career, right? And the Carolina Panthers paid him anyway. So we got to start thinking about, man, what kind of depth that we can get at the cornerback position. Because, it's just no guarantee our number 1 and number 2 corners are going to play a full season. That's all I'm saying.
It was Jackson injuries, freak accidents, or he's injury prone?
Bro, I'm sorry. Dante Jackson was injury prone. I'm going ahead and say
that.
Oh,
okay.
He done been hurt every year.
I'm trying to establish a threshold here as far as how we gonna call this as far as the injuries and stuff go. So I'm trying to,
He had injuries on multiple parts of his body, like in a season. Like he'll come back, and next it's hamstring, come back ankle, come back shoulder, come back
foot. Yep.
Yeah, that's a big difference. And he got a second year. He got a second contract though.
Was he a first round pick?
Second round
pick.
Okay. Well, Terrence Marshall was a third round pick too. So I mean, hey, y'all gonna do this with the injuries. Either you're gonna be on one side of the fence as it comes to injuries, or you're gonna be on the other side. That's just how I see it. But yeah, he injury prone, man, and y'all gonna have to get some depth. But to me, it's good corner depth in this draft though. So to me, I think y'all could probably sneak up on something.
Bro, Dante,
you muted, man. You muted.
Can y'all hear me?
You can hear me now.
Just to give you perspective on how injury prone Dante Jackson is, he's been in the league since 2018 and has only played 64 games.
That's injury prone. That's 5 years worth now. That year.
64 games and been in the league since 2018.
Oh, nah. That's injury prone. Mm-hmm.
CLT, come on, man. 64 games and has been in the league since 2018. Even if you do the math, that's 64 games out of an eligible. Let's do the quick math right quick. So the first 4 years of his career, it was 16 games. So we'll do 16 times 4. That's 64 games. The first 4 years of his career is 64 games, right? 64 games. Then we'll do, okay, plus 17 games this year. Because hold up, let me make sure I got it right. This will be his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, this is his 6th season. So yeah, 64 plus 17 from this year. Out of 81 eligible games, he's only played 64.
No, that do kind of make it look a little bit better. I get that. It's a little bit better.
Bro.
That's
I mean,
what that's over half. I mean, shit.
Bro.
That's over half the games. It's about what, like 60, almost 60%.
Well, bro, the man has missed 20 games, like almost 20 games in his career. That's a lot of games for NFL standards, bro. Like that's a lot
That
of
is a lot
games.
of games. So basically, he missed what, a season in a season
Damn near a
in a
season
half
and a
in the
half.
month of a season.
Because you got to remember something. It's only 17 games in a season.
Yeah.
It's only 16, 17 games in a season. So for you to miss 20, bro, that's a lot of games to not be playing in, bro.
Okay.
In the NFL.
Okay. So if we can chop up the missed games as far as like spot games, what how many games he's missed consecutively? If that kind
of. Let's see.
Bro, he done missed consecutive games, consecutive time. I mean, more than one time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that for a fact, without even looking it up. But he, I think for him, D Jack, man, I think this is a proven year for him, man, as well. This season, man, under this new staff. Like, yeah, we gave him a contract, but I think I ain't looking at the numbers, but let's just say he injured or have a bad season. Shit, we gonna move on from him, man. If he don't come out this year and ball like we need him to ball, so it's just kind of a proven year for him, man. He gotta show that he can stay healthy and also make plays because he had a rocky start to his career as well. We drafted him high. We was drafted him, expecting him to be elite corner by now anyway. And I think he done underperformed. So this a proven year, man. He got a new staff in there, new defense. So hopefully, man, he can ball out and show his potential that we've been expecting.
Yeah, man. Jackson, he done had a toe injury. He had 2 toe injuries in 2020. And then he had the Achilles tear this past year in November, man. 2 toe injuries and Achilles tear. Hey, man, I just don't know, man, if Dante Jackson go be. You got to think, man, Dante Jackson, you got to remember something. He used a lot of his, ability, his speed, man, as his ability to make plays. You keep having these lower extremity injuries, man, he might start to slow down.
Yeah, but remember, it was his hammy, too. They would have him limited for his hammy. So they don't show that on the injury report. He wouldn't practice because the hammy.
Facts.
And then he would play a game. He would play the game, but he wouldn't practice the whole week.
Yes, sir. Hey, y'all, we have hit our 2-hour mark, man. Listen, if you are new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe to it, man. These fellas have pulled up on it, man. Shout out to CLT. Shout out to Wiley for pulling up. Shout out to Mudbone pulling up and Big Bro. Everybody pulling up to the channel today, man. Look, we done had a great conversation today, man. Thank everybody for all of the support. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you like and subscribe to it if you haven't done so already. Y'all hit the like button, man. MidDay Madness in the mix. The countdown is real to the NFL draft. We are about to find out, man, who our future signal caller is going to be. All signs are pointing to CJ Stroud right now. But, hey, anything can happen, man, from between and now. CLT, final words, bro.
Man, thank y'all for having me again, man. I want everybody to have a safe, blessed weekend. More news. Shout out to Wavez for the energy, man. Shout out to the panel for pulling up, man. Keep counting.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Big bruh. Final words.
Hey, listen, as always, fellas and fans, thank y'all for pulling up to the show. Great conversation as usual. I love it. I love pulling up to the show. I love the guys, getting everybody takes. And listen, fans, everybody, and I'm talking as a fan. We about to cross over to April, so y'all know what April is. Draft month. Like Wade said, let's count down, fellas. It's an exciting time to be a Panthers fan if you're a Carolina fan. Even if you're not a fan, it's exciting, man. Because hey, the Panthers are coming back up in conversation, the national media conversation, and
Yes,
we
sir.
here, baby. So hey, everybody have a safe weekend. Be blessed, be safe, and we'll catch y'all next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wally, final words, brother.
Hey man, I'm gonna say it like this. Hey, we can all be cool in some of these podcasts, but when y'all start talking this trash, brother, I got to get at you. It's all
Ain't nothing
good though.
wrong
Good
with it.
conversation.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Hey, listen. Hey, appreciate everybody for pulling up, man. Again, y'all, we will be live at it again Monday at noon. Monday at noon, man. So make sure y'all pull up the Midday Madness. Appreciate y'all boys taking it out, man. Everybody have a safe, blessed weekend. And again, baby, Panther Nation, this been an off season like no other, man. And you go get the best content in the world right here over Life is Just a Wave podcast. For all of the service, man, make sure y'all stay tuned to the community channel. Be posting a lot of breaking news. Everything that comes out with the Carolina Panthers, we'll post it there. But we back at it again on Monday, man. So until then, see everybody next week. Y'all have a blessed one, man. Life is just a wave, baby. Holla.
Keep pounding.
All right, Wally. Appreciate you.